If you're building apps in Softr and you still rely on Zapier, Make, or custom scripts for every approval, notification, or status change, this update is a big deal. Softr introduced workflows late last year around October, and this is one of those features that quietly but fundamentally changes what the platform can do. So if you've been using Softr for a while, you probably noticed the evolution. So first it was pages and blocks, then Softr introduced native databases, and now with workflows, they've added automation and logic layer, which is what finally turned Softr into a true full stack platform. And if you haven't noticed, lately they've also introduced forms, but that's a topic for another video. But what this means is that you're no longer just building interfaces, you're actually building full-on systems. Welcome back to the Automation Desk YouTube channel. My name is Will with Low-Code Systems, and on this channel, we help teams build internal tools, portals, and workflows without over-engineering things. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through what Softr workflows do, why they matter, and the limitations when you should use them. And we're going to be building a quick workflow with this ATS application that I've been creating so you can see it in action. So let's get started. Before I show you how the workflows work in Softr with the applicant tracking system that I've been creating, I first want to explain to you what Softr workflows are at a high level. So eventually, Softr workflows are event-driven automations that live directly inside your Softr application. So for example, something happens in your app like a form submission, a button click, or a record update, and Softr can automatically run logic in the background. Before workflows, Softr handled the front end and the data, but the logic lives somewhere else like N8N, Make, or Zapier. Now, that logic lives inside Softr. But why does this matter? Well, real applications don't just display data, they react to it. So think of approvals, onboarding steps, notifications, status-based actions, and guardrails that prevent mistakes. Without workflows, all of the logic had to live in an external tool, like I already mentioned earlier, N8N, Zapier, or Make. And with workflows now native inside Softr, they can live inside the Softr application, and you can create them, build them, and then use them within your building your application. Like when a form gets submitted, you attach that flow into your form to perform a certain action. Now let's talk a little bit of how actually workflows work. So for those who are new to using workflows, every workflow actually starts with a trigger first. So this is the thing that kicks it off. Some of the most common triggers you'll actually use are form submissions, button clicks, record created or updated, and schedule workflows or webhooks. This means that workflows respond to user actions and data changes, not just timers. So this is where all the workflows start. So this is the heart of the workflows. So this is the canvas. This is where it starts. So you have a few options to start from scratch or start with a template. Now, Softr already has a few templates that you can use. You can look at them here, you can preview them, but I'm going to be starting from scratch, and I just want to show you the canvas. I'm first walking to the trigger, the canvas, actions, and all that stuff, and then we're gonna grab all that and put it together, and I'm going to show you the demo, okay? So you have a few triggers that you can use: Softr databases, Softr apps, webhooks, one-time schedule, recurrent schedules. You also have integrations like Airtable, Gmail, Google Sheets, and Notion. So I'm going to click Softr databases because that's what I'm using for my ATS application that I'm creating in Softr. And right now I'm just going to select record added just so I can show you the canvas. So this is the heart of the workflows. This is the canvas. And this is where you usually build your logic, starting with a trigger and usually followed by a chaining action step by step. So if you use tools like Make or Zapier, this will actually look familiar to you. But the big difference is that this logic runs inside your Softr application. Once the workflow starts, you define actions. Those are steps that Softr should take. Some of the most useful actions include creating or updating records, sending emails, sending Slack notifications, calling external APIs, adding weights, and branch logic with conditions. Each step can reference data from earlier steps, which is what makes workflows dynamic. This is where workflows start to feel like a real backend logic. So instead of always do this, you can say, if status approved, do this, if rejected, do something else. That's the difference between a simple automation and actual business logic. Now, one of the most underrated features is that workflows include AI steps. So you can use AI to summarize text, clean up form input, generate emails, and draft internal notes. You can also use AI to generate a starter conversation of a workflow, which is great for getting unstuck. Now, just remember, AI helps, but you still need to think through the logic yourself. But when to use Softr Workflows? Well, Softr Workflows shine when the logic is tightly tied to your app, you want fewer external dependencies, you need approvals or notifications, or you want fast iterations. For most internal tools and portals, workflows replace a large chunk of external automations. But always remember that with every good thing, there are limitations. Now, this isn't magic. There are limitations to the Softr Workflows, and some things to keep in mind are AI steps consume credits. There are very complex integrations may still belong in external tools like N8N, Make, or Zapier. Complex workflows require testing and structure. So the right mindset is native workflows first, and then if you need to, use external automations when needed. All right, so now that I walked you through the canvas and Softr workflows, the triggers, actions, and logic that it takes to create a workflow, now it's time to create an actual workflow in this applicant tracking system that I've actually created. So I'm going to open this in a new tab so I can show you what demo we're going to be building. So I have my applicant tracking system application here that I've been creating, and I have this career page. So this career page, most companies would have them in order for someone externally to come in and apply to certain positions. So I'm going to click search experience professional roles, and I have a few job openings here that I've created so that when an applicant comes into your careers page and hits apply, then the form will open up where they're going to fill out all the information, first name, last name, upload the resume, cover letter, and then questions that are typically asked in an applicant tracking system in order to qualify for that position. You can add all those into this form. Once this form gets submitted, then it's going to trigger an email. It's going to trigger an email that looks like this. So this is what I've created, but you can always tweak this one around. And this email can be sent to a shared mailbox that you have for your recruiting team. And right now, this workflow is for Gmail, but if you're using Slack, you can also add the Slack. So it can send a Slack notification and letting everyone know in that Slack that, hey, a new application has come through for this requisition. And for this one, I've set the title to new application. I've included the title of the requisition, and in the body, I have the requisition, I have the candidate information, that's name, email, and phone number. So this is what the workflow it's gathering every time a new application gets submitted. This is the email that gets sent. Right now it's being sent to me, but like I said, depends on your scenario. You can send it to your shared mailbox so everyone can see it. So now let me show you the actual workflow. So the workflow that I have here is the new applicant workflow. And like I said, you have a few options. You can start from scratch or you start a template, but this one, we're going to be starting it from scratch. So go ahead and click start from scratch. And this is going to be a trigger from my Softr application that I'm creating, but you can also use it Softr databases. So if you're fully want to trigger from a database, you can use that as well. And you can also trigger from a webhook, a one-time schedule, or recurring schedule. And you have integrations with Airtable, Gmail that I'm using, Google Sheets, and Notion. So you go ahead and select Softr applications, and this is going to be when a form gets submitted. So you can click submit form, and it's going to automatically give you the step. Obviously, you already have the trigger, which is going to be when a new form gets submitted. So let me go back to the one I already created. So let me show you the steps that I actually have. So on the form submitted, you just, whenever you click that, right, you can test it. And then once you attach it to the form, you can get all these details within here. So let me show you how you attach it to a form. So if we go back to our application, let me go back to my Softr. All right, so I'm within my Softr and I'm going to look for my form. So this is the new job application form. And this, if you click here, you go into the steps. This is where you are able to attach the workflow to your form. So you see, I have attached it after submission. I'm going to run a custom workflow and I'm going to attach the new applicant email workflow. If you have more workflows, this will be generated. And if you don't, you can create it from here, right? You can also edit the workflow from here. So first, you're going to need to create the workflow, and then you attach it to the form that you're creating on the steps tab, and you can just run the custom workflow, attach the workflow, and it's going to trigger that workflow with that form. Now let's go back to our form. So once you've attached it, you can click test, and it's going to pull all the information that's included in that form. Because remember, I mentioned that you need the data from earlier steps to use it in later steps. Okay, so then I have show screen, so you can let the user know once they click submit, just a moment, please wait while we complete your request. And now what this is happening in the back end, right, is running the logic of the workflow, and it's going to send that email to your recruiters. But for the user interface, you're letting them know, hey, wait a minute, and then it's going to give them a successful message of your application has been successfully submitted. Then after you have that wait time in my workflow, you have my first step, right? The first step is to send an email to that account. Right now I'm using it to my will@localsystems.com because that's what I'm using. But like I said, if you have a share mailbox that you want to send it to, you can add that in here. So you would add that in the to, and then you add the subject, right? You select the fields that you want to add. And you can also switch this to HTML. So if you want to write HTML, you can. Then you can just write whatever you want here to say. So I'm saying new application received requisition is going to give me I'm going to be adding the name of the requisition. By the way, this is the subject line. So here I'm just saying new application at the requisition name that I'm grabbing from my requisition table in my Softr database. Then I'm going to add the body, which is this right here, right? So this is the candidate and the information of the candidate that's applying. So I have candidate, I have the name, I'm using the full name, the email, the phone number, and then you can also CC to other share mailbox or to your recruiting manager. And you can also BCC. You can also reply to. So let's say when a user submits the form and you want to let them know, hey, thank you for submitting the form, we'll be reaching back to you with next steps. Then you can also do that, create a flow to send that email to them once they've submitted an application. And finally, you have the user interactions. So this is what's going to happen once the workflow finishes. If it's success, right, the title success, and then you can let them know with a message, thanks for applying. And you can choose what happened next, right? So navigation, I'm opening the page and guiding them back to my home page of the application. And you can just select the page that you want them to land in. So let's say they want them to land in the careers. So after the workflow runs and everything happens, the email gets triggered, sent to the share mailbox, is going to redirect the applicant back to the careers page. And that's basically it of how the workflow works. So Softr started with the UI, then added native databases, and now workflows that add the logic layer. And just recently they added forms. So stay tuned because I'm going to be creating a video on how to use the forms within Softr. But that combination of UI, data, logic, and now forms, it makes Softr a true full stack app builder. So if you're building internal tools, CRMs, onboarding systems, or portals, workflows are something that you should absolutely be using. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment if you want any help designing any workflows, integrations, automations. Reach out to us at localsystems.com for a free 30-minute consultation. We'll be happy to work with you and see where we can help. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Will with Local Systems, and I'll see you on the next one.